Hey there, have you ever thought to yourself, I know my cousin likes books, but what if they've already read it? Or worse, what if they already own it? I can't get them a book, so what do I get them? Or maybe, there's so many bookish items nowadays, I don't know what to get my friend. Should I get her this candle that smells like her favorite book? Or this soap that supposedly smells like her favorite character? Oh, a mug shaped like a book! Or even, oh hey, I think this is the book Billy wanted for Christmas. $26.99? I've seen bigger books for less. In fact, back in my day, they used to hand these babies out for free. Something about giving us an education. I think it worked. What does that say? $26.99 for a little sheet of paper. What a ripoff. If you've ever thought any of the above and don't lie to yourself, then this video's for you. So I see you stay tuned. My name is Jordan, and hopefully I can help you gift your book lover a wonderful handmade item. Now, I believe book lovers are incredibly sentimental people, so anything handmade that you're going to gift them, no matter how poorly it goes, I think they're going to love. That being said, all of the DIYs in this video are definitely beginner, and if I can do them for the first time in this video, you can do them too. I have 5 ideas to share, so let's get into it. For the first idea, we're going to start with the basics, and that is bookmarks. Every reader needs one, even if they don't use one. And this is great if you want to give a lot of people a handmade item but want to make it personalized. Starting off with the materials, you're going to need a glue stick, some scissors, some pens and pencils. You're going to need some clear Scotch tape, some clear paper, some decorative paper. I have a ripped page here, some dried plants. I have some leaves and some flowers. This is a great option if you want that effortlessly beautiful look that nature provides. First of all, you're going to trace and cut out the bookmark, the size of your choosing, but you're going to want to make sure that the width of your bookmark is the same as the width of your Scotch tape. Then it's time to decorate. What I decided to do was align my page with the bookmark frame, and I wanted it to only take up half of the bookmark, so I ripped it down the middle to create a gradient. Once I had it ripped and aligned how I wanted it to be, I glued it down, and then I went through all of my leaves one by one and tried to figure out which one I liked best on the bookmark. I ended up keeping it simple with some pepper leaves, and I gently patted some glue onto them and pressed it into the bookmark. Then I topped it off with a quote by Oscar Wilde, "With freedom, books, flowers, and the moon, who could not be happy?" After you're happy with the layout of your bookmark, you're going to take a strip of clear Scotch tape, lay it down, make sure it's a little bit longer than the length of your bookmark, gently lay your bookmark onto the tape, and slide the tape down so that way it covers the entire back of the bookmark. Then you're going to take another strip of tape and do the same thing to the front side. This is going to act as a form of sealant. Of course, it would be best to laminate this, but if you're like me and don't want to go outside right now, this is the best way with household items you probably already have. Then you're going to cut off the excess tape, press down on the bookmark with some books for a couple hours so that way there is no air bubbles, and then voila! There you go, a wonderful bookmark. I ended up doing 3, and I really like how they turned out. The second idea is for those of you who don't want to get all that crafty, and it is a reader's emergency pack. This is going to be filled with a lot of items that they can use during their reading experience. For materials, you're going to want something to hold everything in, like a basket, something cozy like a blanket, stuffed animal, sweater. I added some fuzzy socks in, as well as a cleansing face mask. And then you're going to want to add lots and lots of food, preferably their favorite snacks. Then what cozy read would be complete without a mug? To top it off, I added in some hot chocolate and a couple teas. Finally, add in some bandages for those nasty paper cuts. Place all items inside your basket or bag. If you want, you can use a clear festive bag to put everything inside of, top it off with a ribbon, and add a little tag to let your reader know what they're in store for. And then, there you go, you're done! The third idea is definitely time consuming, so set aside a couple hours, and that is a embroidered mask. Everyone's wearing one nowadays, so why not get your book lover something they will truly cherish? First of all, you're going to want a blank mask, an embroidery hoop, at least 2 bunches of embroidery thread, and lastly, a needle. To start off, you're going to want to place your mask over your smallest hoop and then place the biggest hoop on top, smooth it over, take your embroidery thread and cut it to the length of your wingspan so that way you're not overwhelmed with how much thread you have to work with. Take your thread and push it through the eye of your needle, fold over a small portion of it, and you're ready to start. So you're going to begin from the bottom up. Once you find your location, you may want to sketch out the words first, and then when you start, you'll push it all the way through, leave a little bit of excess on the bottom, and tie a knot so that way your thread can't go all the way through the cloth. Once you've knotted your thread, you're going to keep forming the shape of letters. I didn't do anything fancy with my stitching. I just kept going in and out, and it worked out well. As you can see, I've actually already started doing the lettering. I wanted to practice. I would recommend practicing on another cloth because some of the words I had to tear out, they were so bad. It does get easier as it goes on. During this time lapse, I just wanted to take a minute to tell you that when you finish and you turn your mask around, there will be a mess on the backside. You can probably already tell from watching me, and it won't look that bad the better you are at this. However, if you want to cover that off before giving it to someone, you can take some fabric that is the same size as your mask and sew that around the rim, or you can use fabric glue to glue it on. I was planning to have this worn over another mask for extra protection anyway, so it didn't bother me. The whole process took me about, I'd say, 5 hours. The shorter letters are definitely a lot easier, so I would go for those if you're a beginner. And finally, after many hours of work, this is how it turned out. The fourth idea is candle making, and I love this idea because when you go into a shop, you'll see that candles can be 30 plus, especially if they're bookish, because those details can really add a pretty penny. And so making your own is really cost effective. The one I made was under $5, and you can make it even cheaper if you already have some of the items already. For materials, you'll need candles. I got mine from the 99-cent store for $1 each. You can use wax, but it will be more expensive. Then you'll want dried plants for decorating the top, like one of those fancy candles. A container, preferably square or with a flat surface, unlike mine. Yarn, essential oils. I chose pine to make it a little bit more Christmassy. A large pot and a smaller one to fit inside, as well as some water. To start off, fill up the big pot with water, place the small pot above it with candles inside, put the stove on medium-high. While your wax is melting, decide how you'll want to design the top of your candle with the dried items. And if you're not using your bowl, heat it up or keep it near the stove so it warms and will accept the wax more willingly when you pour it in. Once some of the wax has melted, you're going to make your wicks. Now take your yarn, cut it to be a little longer than you want your wick to be, and place it inside the melting wax. Pull it out after 5 minutes and straighten to dry. Put your essential oils in when the wax is just about done melting. When it's time to pour, tape your wicks against scissors or a pencil to keep them in place, and pour in the wax, making sure that it has cooled off some beforehand. I ended up pouring twice since not all of it was melted. Once you've let your candle sit overnight, you can then decorate it. I printed out a quote and an image of Joe from Little Woman, but you can also get stickers from something like Redbubble and paste those on if you have a flat surface. And that is all you need to do to make a candle. The final idea blew my mind, and that is recycled handmade paper. This is great for the writers in your life because poets, writers, even readers can really romanticize writing something on the most beautiful paper, and you can really stylize it however you want to, and it's surprisingly easy. For 5 sheets of paper, you'll need about 7 large handfuls of shredded paper, a small bucket, a large bucket, some dried plants for details. I used some purple flowers, a blender, some towels, and a decal. This is the most important part. You can buy it online, but I had my dad make it from a frame. We just stapled window screen to the back of it. To begin, put your paper in the small bucket, pour enough hot water to cover it all, and let it sit for an hour. Add some hot water to your flowers as well. You may want to shred them first depending on size. Fill your big bucket 3/4 up with water, and blend your paper water once the hour is up. Place the decal just under the surface of the water and pour the paper water on top. Add some dried plants if desired. Shake the decal gently to get the frame completely covered with the paper water. If it is a struggle, we found a brush really helped, then let the water drain. Move it to a towel and pat with a towel or rag. Once the water is absorbed, peel off and flip it over, knocking on it to let the paper loose. Let the paper dry overnight, though it may take longer if there's a lot of plants in it, and that's it. So those are all the ideas I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed. If you decide to gift anyone these, be sure to let me know, send me pictures. I'd love to see it. I'll leave my Instagram linked down below. And if you want to support my channel, like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you in my next video very soon because I'm posting every other day until the 25th.